The new channel. See the new. The new channel. See the new. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the new channel where we help you see the new you. Again, this is Dr. Mike Chua, live streaming here in Martin, Tennessee, and in behalf of my co-host, Bert from Texas, this is iBusiness. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Pilipinas. It's good morning there in the Philippines. I believe it's 9:35 in the morning, Wednesday there in the Philippines. So, of course, here in the States, it is actually 8:35 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, thank you very much for watching what you call iBusiness, wherein we help you improve your influence and impact in your specific industry. And that way you can start your own business. You know, it doesn't matter if you're in a medical field, financial field, sports field, or whatever field. You know, it's a matter of how you improve your influence and impact in your specific industry. So if you are watching live, please comment live. We want to know if you're watching live. And of course, please comment replay if you are watching on the replay, because we want to know if this is really effective or not. So when you're commenting, when you're putting down live, put down also where you're watching at. If you're watching here in the States, type in, what city, what state you're at. When you're in there, the Philippines, obviously, type in what, kung saang bayan man kayo. All right, so type in where you at. Type in where you at, because we want to know. We want to know who's watching in our show. Well, anyway, I have this daily calendar that I have, and then I tear it out, and then it's basically inspirational stuff that I normally do. I write down things in my journal. So here, it's obviously Wednesday there in the Philippines, and Tuesday here. It says here, the thing that you are seeking is also seeking you. In Tagalog, kung ano man yung hinahanap mo, yun ang maghahanap sa'yo. So in English, obviously, the thing that you are seeking is also seeking you. You know what? Same thing in the therapy field. When I see a patient, and if that patient is always focusing on the bad, focusing on the weakness, on his weakness, guess what? That patient is going to be really weak. But when I see that this patient is actually wanting to get better, wanting to get stronger, and they have a specific goal in mind, guess what? They get better, they get stronger. And we actually, as therapists, we actually ask them, hey, what are your goals in mind? What are your goals? Why do you want to get therapy out of this? So before I keep going, I just want to give a shout out to June. June Sayas, thank you very much, June. And Miss Jo, thank you very much for watching from Tarlac City. Oh, yeah. She's an avid watcher. Thank you very much for watching, Miss Jo. I really appreciate you. So whatever you're focusing on, going back to this paper here, whatever you're focusing on gets magnified. So same thing with our patient. We would ask them SMART goals, SMART. Okay, you guys got to write this down. You write down what SMART goal is. Let me see. Oh, Gabriel Dominguez, thank you for watching. Gosh, thank you uh for watching. He is in Capitolio, Pasig City. There you go. All right, let's go back to those goals. Okay, SMART goals. SMART. SMIART. Smart. You know, in the Philippines we have that Smart and Globe, right? So special shout out to them. We don't have that here. But SMART. Letter S. Your goals needs to be specific. It needs to be specific to your specific goals. SMART, right? Specific. Next letter is letter M. It needs to be measurable. You can have a goal in life, but if it isn't measurable, guess what? You're going to have a hard time reaching for that. What's the next goal? It needs to be attainable. If you have a goal that is not attainable, guess what? It's not a SMART goal. You need to be smart about it. For example, in my case, you know, I want to be a basketball player. Guess what? I'm short. I'm just 5'5". It's not attainable. It's specific. It's measurable, but it's not attainable for me. So it needs to be an attainable goal for you. What's the next letter? It's letter R. It needs to be realistic. Is it realistic for me to play basketball in my age? No. You know, it needs to be specific. It needs to be realistic. And last but not the least, letter T, it needs to be time bound. It needs to be time bound. What does it mean, time bound? You need to have a certain goal in mind, a time frame. So, for example, if I say, okay, I want to lose weight, when? You need to have a specific time frame. You know, for I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, something like that. I wish, right? You know, it needs to be time bound. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Okay. So I see Mitch. Thank you very much, Mitch. Oh gosh. And June, you the man. You're a good man, June. Thank you very much for watching. And then for today, we have a special guest. Oh gosh, we got a special guest. Normally it's him, right? It is him who interviews other people. You know, he doesn't just interview local athletes in the Philippines. He interviews international athletes in the Philippines. Oh gosh. And it's such a, I've been watching him. I watched him when I was a kid. I didn't watch him specifically. I watched him because he's interviewing different athletes there. I'm like, oh gosh, who is this guy here? You know, he's like a reporter or something like that. And then along the way, I realized, gosh, this person is really changing the actual field, the actual sports system there in the Philippines, and he's got so much accolades behind his name. And before I put him in, or before we put him in, I just would like to read his stuff here. There's so much, but Lloyd has summarized this. Basically, Chino Trinidad shares how he is improving his impact in the media industry. He's an experienced news correspondent with the demonstrated history of working in the broadcast media industry. Oh gosh. He is skilled in news writing, advertising, editing, journalism, and radio. Strong community and social services professional with a Bachelor of Arts, focus in law from the University of the Philippines. Gosh, I mean, if I'm going to read all of this, it's going to take us forever, you know. But without further ado, I would like to bring in none other than Mr. Manolo Chino Trinidad. Manolo from Manila. Again, thank you very much, Sir Chino, for coming over. Are you here? Could we put him in?
How do you inspire yourself?
By inspiring others.
Kalabaw lang tumatanda?
Kalabaw lang tumatanda.
Anong edad mo ngayon?
Nasa ano na tayo sa 28.
Which would you rather have? The fame, the fortune, or respect?
Oh, respect. Honestly, respect is everything. The fame and the fortune and all, and the glitz and the glamour don't mean nothing if people don't respect you.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. I just can't imagine. I'm having a what do you call this? A starstruck moment, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching live, you gotta comment live. If you're watching on the replay, comment replay. And if you know Mr. Chino Trinidad, type in Chino there, Chino, not China. It's Chino. Oh gosh, Mr. Chino, thank you very much again for coming over. It's such an honor for me uh to interview you. It's we're gonna turn the table around. Normally he's the one interviewing really awesome, not just awesome, but really famous athletes and people. And here I am interviewing that guy, and I feel like I've interviewed LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, the president of the Philippines, not just one, not just two, all of them. And gosh, I'm just starstruck right now, Mr. Chino. So thank you very much. Could you tell us where you're really from and how you started this career of choosing sports, and now you have this great what you call this great advocacy about pushing this thing forward? Could you share that? Just talk. Gosh.
Me talking? Wala, may problema ako, Doc, dito. First of all, magandang umaga po from the Philippines, dun sa mga kababayan natin who are scattered all over the world, dun sa Amerika, no? Yeah, you guys stay safe, no? Alam natin, yan yung pinaka-paramount dito. Doc, thank you for this opportunity. Sa lahat ng sinabi mo, simple, put it in one word, or actually two words, blended into one, storyteller. That's who I am, no? I just want to tell stories of people who made it big, stories of people who continue to inspire us. Like Kobe Bryant, he may be gone, but he continues to cast his shadow over not just sports, but people who try to attain better things, so higher level of things for themselves. No, ako po si Chino Trinidad, born here in Mandaluyong, still living here in Mandaluyong. Pag umuulan, we get floods. So, ano ba naman ang buhay ng Pilipino pagka nakatira ka sa tabi ng ilog na hindi ka binabaha, no? So it's part and parcel, no? We have COVID here as well, no? What we're experiencing is being experienced by the whole world. So ano ba pagkakaiba? Wala, no? Again, Doc, simply a storyteller, no? I was just blessed to be in a position to be able to capture all those stories, so from a Robert Jaworski to a Manny Pacquiao, then all those international stars who come for a visit into the Philippines, being able to talk to them, being able to draw, a portion of their experience and maybe translate that to everyday life and be able to give it to Filipinos who are looking for ways or things to cling on to in the most trying times of our history. So basically, Doc, yan si Chino Trinidad. And to all our viewers, whether it be replay or anything, you drop a line, anything you might want to know about your country, about sports, about Philippine history, which I am now passionate about. Just let us know. Itong time na ito, itong day na ito is for that, basically for that. Doc, salamat for this opportunity to be able to tell the story of wonderful people called Filipinos.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, it's my pleasure nang makausap ka ng ganito.
Kaya dugo yung ilong ko mapapahanap ako ng tissue
I guess we gotta, we're forced to. Come on now, you interviewed Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. So, I mean, but just for the sake of my show, let's speak English. But sa mga kababayan natin, normally me and Chino would talk Tagalog and everything like that. But before we keep going, I just want to see. I'm still starstruck from this guy. I just want to give a shout out to Carlos Vigare. He's actually one of our general managers in United Laboratories. Thank you very much, Boss Kaloy, for watching. Maybin, she said, "Eto idol to Chino Trinidad watching live from San Pablo, Laguna." Thank you very much. And then Gabriel, greetings, he said. And then Russell, thank you very much for watching. And then Jen, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I don't know what you guys noticed. Chino said storytelling, and you don't have to be really the expert in that field. But if you know how to tell a story, if you know how to share that story, imagine this is what he does. He talks to that person and then he shares their story. When you watch an awesome movie, what's the last movie that I saw? Really, really good. But let's just say Avengers Endgame. Guess what? After that movie, I kept on talking about it. And that's what Chino is doing. He would watch the life of those movies of other people and he would share that story. And guess what? Bam, he becomes that instant authority in his field. Now, people think that Chino was just really the big sportscaster, PBL guy, and everything there in the Philippines. And imagine that, because he has chosen to share and inspire and empower and improve other people's lives there in the Philippines. And let's bring back Mr. Chino again. Mr. Chino,
No.
sir, why sports? You got all this degree back home there, and why sports? I mean, did you really like sports, or you like boxing, basketball? Why that? Mm-hmm.
It has to do with early exposure. I would say I was born into a family, into two couples who 53 years ago met. Hindi na 53. Bali, baka mga 55 years ago met sa UST, and then I became their product. So, yung isa went on and pursued a career in journalism. Started out as a radio broadcaster for a defunct DZHP, and just recently, actually, just today, I read his parang swan song sa Philippine Daily Inquirer, and I'm speaking of my father, si Reca Trinidad, who wrote his final piece. Buhay pa ho ang tatay ko, huwag kayong mag-alala. Nothing to be alarmed about. He just wrote because yung Philippine Daily Inquirer, I think, has downscaled yung kanilang operations due to the effects of yung COVID-19. And then, of course, my mother, who also pursued a life as a journalist, but later on decided that it is more important to stay home and be the mother to 3 boys, including myself. Doon, Doc, that's where it all started. It's an early exposure to sports where I suddenly realized just today that my dad actually, I thought, wasn't herding me or wasn't trying to influence me, but tagging me along doon sa mga work niya, doon sa mga experiences niya all these years since I could recall. I could recall actually. I'm 53 years old tomorrow, Doc. Okay. Pero 1972 hindi ko makakalimutan. We were in Binondo, where the old Manila Times building was. Manila Times then was a respectable newspaper before it became whatever it is right now. Okay. So I was there when they padlocked the Manila Times because of martial law. And now, again, I was there. I was tagging along with my dad because I used to play around the old Manila Times building, getting that pen that they use for editing. It's a colored red pen. Sana papakita ko sa inyo, but I can find it right now. But I remember those days. So it's the exposure, the early exposure to sports and storytelling, the style of my dad, si Reca Trinidad, which I got exposed, imagine, at an early age. 45 years ago, I can even remember yung mga early years of the PBA. And even before that, there was a league called Mika. Okay, that's the precursor of the now PBA. Like 1973, I think, was my first experience to watch a live game at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. So, Doc, yung experience, it's and the exposure, to sports and to great men and the women of Philippine sports and the Philippines in general. I think that's what influenced me to enter this world, which this year I'm on my 30th. Grabe, no? 30 years.
Wow.
Doc, alminin ko na. Bata ka pa noon, pero tingnan mo naman, di pa ako nagtitina, ha?
Ako kailangan ko na eh. Well, anyway, just before I harp on what Chino said, a lot of people are saying advance happy birthday, sir. Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much for greeting Mr. Chino. Hindi siya halatang 53, ano? He doesn't look like he's 53. He looks like he's just 52.
83.
1953. Well, anyway,
Pinanganak.
before we keep on going, I just want to harp on what Mr. Chino said. Sir Chino said, he said specifically this: he was exposed early with his mentors. And that's what we normally talk about: finding a mentor, finding a coach, because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So whoever you are hang out with, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? That's going to be you. And of course, what Chino said, he was being guided by his dad. It doesn't have to be your dad. It doesn't have to be your parent. It doesn't have to be somebody else. If you're an adult right now, obviously you're watching and you're an adult, find somebody who's going to guide you. Find somebody who's going to teach you and coach you. Follow that person. In that way, you can be the best that you can be. And that's the purpose. That's our purpose here in this show. How to improve your influence and impact in your industry, because you cannot do this on your own. I'm sure Chino found somebody, even in this business world right now. He probably has some team of people that's actually, he reached out to, hey, how can I reach out to this person? How can we reach out and interview this, whoever, the Kobe Bryant, Manny Pacquiao. I'm sure he's first name basis with those famous people now. But before he was starting, he probably asked somebody too. And you need to find a coach, ladies and gentlemen. Find somebody that somebody can guide you and coach you. Is that right, Sir Chino?
Well, let me echo just what si Doc Mike had said, no? Huwag mo na ako tawaging Sir Chino na lang. Alam ba naman yun?
Alam mo naman tayo. So.
Parang nadadagdagan na puting buhok eh. Every time I hear the word Sir Chino, Chino na lang.
Kailangan natin magmukhang bata, sir.
Pero Doc, just to echo what you had said, yes, mentorship, very important. No? Hindi kayo magsasucceed in life if you don't have a mentor. Kasi yung mga mentor na yan, they're with wisdom. No? Ako, blessed lang ako that my father started me off on some of the finer things ng pagkakonduct ng buhay. No? Yung mga attention to detail. Alam niyo ba yung how tough my dad was on me? No? Na rare yung mga opportunity because he was working and we stayed home with my mom. So parang 80% of the time, kasama namin nanay namin. 20% of the time, sa tatay's pet. But those 20%, more than made up for yung time that he had to work. Alam niyo yung the mere fact na yung paghuhugas ng bigas, tayo mga Pilipino, natututo tayo maghugas ng bigas eh. Pag may mga spillover, familiar kayo dyan, di ba? Ngayon kasi rice cooker na hindi na tumatapon. Ako, I lived through an era na palayok ang ginagamit na pangsaing. And every time a 1, 2, or a couple of yung mga grains ng bigas natatapon sa lababo, naiiwan sa lababo, I get my dose of scolding from my dad. Kasi sinasabi niya, alam mo ba kung ilan na nagugutom dahil sa natatapon na bigas na yan? Imagine that thing of paying attention to detail, it's stuck. And I remember in my 7th grade, yung may graduation kasi nung time namin, yung parang ngayon yung level up or yung moving on, something ang tawag na nila with K to 12. The grade 7 kasi ako doon sa school namin sa San Juan, yung St. John's Academy. So nung grade 7 ko doon, they picked my dad as the guest speaker. As ganun yung kasi mga parents, no. And what he taught me the first the early years of my life, are the same things na sinabi niya. And then one parent approached my dad nung pagkatapos na yon. No, parang sinabi niya yung parang nakaka-relate siya dun sa kwento ng dad ko while he was on stage and talking to us graduates of that grade, no, in grade 7. That was way back 1980. Doc, tama-tama. Masusukat mo na edad ko. Sukat mo na edad ko ngayon. Anyway.
1980, 1980.
Grade 7 ako noong 1980. Mahirap yung memory na lahat yan. Crisp and clear. Kasi you go back and see when it all started. No? Yung sinasabi ni Doc, mentorship, yes, very important. After that, trabaho. Your teachers are your mentors. No? They might terrorize you right now, pero they're teachers. We spend more time with our teachers than our parents actually do sa mga growing years natin. Yung mga years kung saan mas may influence tayo because we spent more time sa eskwela. And then once you graduate, no, once you yung papasok ka na sa trabaho, you pick a job. Ako, I was fortunate that I was mentored, no, by one Rudy Salud nung early years niya bago ako magtrabaho. He's the founding, imagine mo, founding member or the founder of the World Boxing Council itself. Oo, Pilipino po ang nagtayo nun. Not too many people know that one of the highest or the biggest, or maybe the largest, the most influential boxing bodies in the world was actually formulated, established by Filipinos. No, one of them,
Really?
the great, Rudy Salud. You try to check that, the WBC. Look at who the founding Secretary General
Oh.
and you will find the name Rudy Salud. He crafted their constitution and bylaws during the time of President Marcos. Ganon ka-brilliant ang mga Filipino. So, I was fortunate to have been mentored by a great Rudy Salud. Okay, the late great Rudy Salud, about sports administration and everything. No? And then when I finally got a job doon sa Vintage Enterprises Incorporated, I was mentored by no less than the boss himself, no? Who revolutionized the way we see or the way we watch basketball. His name, Carlos Bobong Velez. He passed away, 2-3 years ago? But yung teachings niya sa akin still reverberates. So whatever this guys taught me, itong mga mentors ko taught me, are the things I am now sharing to this present generation. Ang dami pa niyan. Another guy, you probably saw him. He's much older than me, Doc Mike, si Seb Sarmenta. He gave me his break and he mentored me during the early years. No? One of my biggest boo-boos sa television. Guess who actually helped me to be able to smile in the midst of disaster pagka naka-on cam kayo ng television o live television? No less than the great Joe Cantada, smoking Joe Cantada. Ang galing-galing. So, ako lang, sinasabi ko lang is, listen to your mentor. Sometimes they won't mentor you directly, but sometimes it's more indirect mentoring. There's such a term as indirect mentoring. They're teaching you kasi nahihiya sila na baka sabihin nyo, ang yabang naman ito mga ito, tinuturuan ako. No. Now looking back, I had so many mentors I have to thank for na nakatulong to help mold what I have become 30 years after I first entered into the world of sports journalism or journalism in general. Yun Doc Mike, in a nutshell is my story or my end of the story.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well, speaking of his story, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back after a few minutes. Thank you. All right, we are back, but we would like to invite you to watch our inspirational shows. Obviously, The Big Picture with Lloyd Luna. He shares inspiring stories of notable personalities, and he streams every day, Mondays to Fridays. Imagine that, 7 p.m. Obviously in the Philippines. And HR Hotline introduces us to the wonderful world of human resources management every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. And of course, our show, iBusiness, every Tuesdays and Thursdays here in the US, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And obviously in the Philippines, Wednesdays and Fridays at 9:30 there in the morning in the Philippines. And of course, the fourth project is about live business and success stories, live streaming there in Dubai, UAE, 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Philippine time, 7 p.m. UAE and 11 p.m. Philippine time. And then next is Learn Your Life Purpose by tuning in to U-Turn Mondays and Thursdays at 10:30 in the morning. Gosh, that's really good. That's really good. The Home Buyer is where you hear inspiring stories about building and owning a property. Streams Mondays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. with Dante Salamat. And then, of course, Laugh and Learn through the Puppet Stories, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Oh no, Tuesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. And of course, the new one, Magbenta, Bumili at Tumulong dahil bukas na ang TNC Marketplace. Bukas na ang TNC Marketplace. An online night bazaar live streaming every Thursdays and Fridays at 10 p.m. And then 2 leaders in one platform every episode, the TNC, the talk streams every Mondays and 12 noon. Obviously, please follow our page, TNC Now, for more. And again, let's go back to our show. That's really long, Lloyd. So hard to read those stuff, man. You know, I'm not used to reading stuff. So, well, anyway, I'm going to bring Mr. Chino Trinidad. He was talking about mentorship. And it's very, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very important that you find a mentor. And MENTOR, letter M is meet a need. Meet somebody, find somebody who's actually the expert on that field. What Chino did, he found that expert in that field. And then that next letter is letter E, educate. Start educating yourself on that specific niche, that specific problem that you're wanting to do. And that's what he did. He found a problem, or he found that niche, which is sports, and then he educated himself and started teaching other people about it too. What's the next letter? Letter N, network. Guess what he did? He networked with all these superstars, athletes, or whatever you call them. He networked. And what's the next letter? Letter T. He had to find a team of people to push him to his next level. Not only his dad, not only his mom, but other people. He mentioned big people. Rudy Salud, Carlos Velez, Sarmienta, Joe Canta. Imagine, those are his team there. What's the next letter? It's letter O. One-on-one coaching. You need to find somebody who's going to coach you, because you cannot do this on your own. You cannot do this on your own, ladies and gentlemen. You need to find somebody that's going to push you and believe in you, because we live in a very, very mediocre world right now. We need to start leveling up. And I don't know about you. If you guys are watching still, I'm watching The Last Dance of Michael Jordan right now in Netflix. Shout out to Netflix, right? And he had a one-on-one coaching. He had a one-on-one. He had a coach. He had a mentor. He had a team. Guess what? That's what Chino is doing. And last letter, letter R. Repeat. You got to repeat it again. Mentorship, it's not just one time. It's not just 2 times. You have to keep repeating it again and again and again. Having a mentor is just like bathing. It's just like bathing. Parang paligo. Bathing. You can do it one time, but you have to do it every day, guys. You need to find somebody who's going to coach you. So, speaking of that, let's bring back Mr. Chino. Chino!
Chino na lang.
Yan, sige, Chino na lang. So,
Hindi mo na nadadagdagan yung puting buhok ko. Tingnan mo.
dumadami, Tsaka Sabi ng kaklase ko.
Parang low tide.
Oo, sabi sa akin, Mike, tumataas daw yung hairline mo ah. Sabi ko, hindi, bumababa lang yung kilay ko.
Hindi, di umaatlas ang hairline. Lumalaki lang po ang noo namin.
Yan,
Sabi
yan.
diba, siguro lolokohin ka. Yung malalaki daw yung noo, matatalino. It doesn't work for me.
Yan. Well, anyway, kidding aside, Chino is right. You've got different parts of your brain. Frontal lobe, which is your executive function. Your temporal lobe means your language, your rhythm. Your occipital lobe means actually your vision stuff. So different parts of your brain actually has different functions. So he's right. Kapag ka makapal, mataas ang malaki ang noo mo, sabihin matalino. So I'm gonna accept that. Palusot na lang, sir, right? Before I ask you the next question, Chino, I just would like to give a shout out to Rod Rodriguez. Thank you for watching. I know he is somewhere in Colorado. And then Charmaine Abante, thank you very much for watching. He says, hi, Doc Mike. And then John has a question for you, Sir Chino. He said you were exposed to players that made you choose to stay writing instead of other opportunities, like maybe managing players or maybe coaching. So,
we were exposed. What was the question? Is instead? Okay. Why I chose to stay as a storyteller? Kasi yung once you are involved with one particular athlete, be it a basketball player, a boxer, or whatever, no, it limits you to staying focused. You have to stay focused do sa client po, no? And that's what not I was wired to do. No, I'm not here to be a yaya or to someone to take care of an athlete, because I know that they can already take care of themselves. No? They reach a certain age where they can actually take care of themselves, so they don't need really management anymore. Maybe guidance, that's what I can give. But yung to manage players and to coach, nako, hindi. I'd rather lead men in other ways. No, yung coaching kasi, once you enter that job, lalo as a head coach, that's the day you get fired. Alam mo yun, yung parang ang term namin doon is you've already ano ba sa English yung doc, yung sinisindihan yung mitya. Kasi English tayo ng English, binudugulo talaga inom ko eh. When you like the fire ba tawag doon? Ang hirap kasi niyang English na yan. Pero just for the record, clear ko lang ha. Alam ko si Lloyd is too gracious to give yung credit sa akin. Hindi ko, undergraduate po ako. Ngayon po kasi, katulad ng panahon namin, at sigurado sa sumunod na generation is, napakadali pumunta sa recto and fake your degree. No? Diba? Gagawa ka sa recto ng degree mo sa kahit na nung eskwela. Ano po ako undergraduate ako. And may frustrated doctor din ako eh. While I was pursuing a AB degree, an AB English degree in University of the Philippines, I wanted to shift to a course that I wanted kasi gusto ko maging doktor. Grabe ang quota sa UP. I couldn't made it. Kahit na milagro siguro, bigyan ako ng Diyos ng milagro at that point, hindi pa rin ako makakapasok because we were 256 yata applying for the College of Medicine and only 8 slots were available. Mas matatama ka pa sa loto para makashift ka noon sa UP. So I decided to transfer school. Pumunta ako ng UE, University of the East, where I took up BS Zoology. Hindi ko rin natapos. So what you're looking at is a person who never finished college. Wala ho akong pinakahawakang degree, wala ho akong pagmamayabang na degree. Pero ang masasabi ko sa inyo is, I'm pursuing a different degree. A degree in understanding who we are as Filipinos. I think, para sa akin, it's a more important thing or a more important degree to pursue at this point of my career. Yun lang po, gusto ko lang linawin kasi baka mamaya sabihin, bulero yung si Chino, hindi naman nagtapos ng eskwela yan. Undergraduate ka, sinasabi, nagtapos. Hindi po ako nagtapos. I'm an undergraduate of 2 colleges. Gusto ko lang, universities actually.
That's gonna go lead to my next question, Chino.
Okay. Hindi ko alam. Wala akong ESPN ha. Wala akong ESP.
Actually, that's how great this person is, ladies and gentlemen. He knows how to connect every single thing, and I'm sure he does this in his job. So it takes experience, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess my next question, Chino, is actually, what's your biggest failure and how did you turn it around? And I'm sure you have all these failures in life, and you will not reach this status in life if you haven't failed once, twice. What's your biggest failure and how did you turn it around?
Well, the biggest failure will have to be the biggest failure of my initial on-camera appearance. It was a UAAP coverage back in 1991, and the anchor or the commentators are two persons by the name of Bill Velasco and a good friend of mine who also helped me, just like a mentor and a brother. He goes by the name of Butch Maniego. And they were doing the games, and I was a greenhorn. Rookie pa lang po ako noon. And I was doing a game of Adamson yata in Ateneo doon sa Rizal Memorial Coliseum, and I was supposed to do yung courtside reporter. Okay, so di ba after yan, dadaldal kayo, dami nyo sasabihin. Alam mo yung ninenervyos ka? Pwede akong kunin commercial ng Dato Puti nung time na yun. I-shout out to Dato Puti. Yung suka, para hindi, di ba yung kulay ng vinegar? Yung vinegar kasi na dito sa atin, yung suka natin, sanay tayo, yung suka na puti. Pag sinabi kong nagkulay suka ka, ibig sabihin, ninenervyos ka. You were too nervous, no? I was too nervous. I think I was shaking, no? So natapos yung ko, di ba, yung game yan, dal ka. And finally, you have to turn it back to your partners, to the commentators. Ang name po niya ay si Bill Velasco at saka si Butch Maniego. So, di ba, sasabihin niyo dapat, back to you, Bill and Butch. Dok, wala mo nasabi ko. Kung ano?
Ano?
Back to you, Bull and Bitch.
Oh gosh, that is really crazy, right? Oh gosh.
Television. Paano mo babaguhin yun?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was the end of my career. Okay? So the following morning, si Seb Sarmenta calls me to his office. I said, sorry. I just said goodbye to my budding career. If I had a career then, I knew it was the end of it. Pero pagpasok ko doon, nakatawa siya for whatever reason. And then on the other side, kasi wala pang cellphone noon, he just parang ibinaba niya pa lang yung telepono, and he was just talking to Joe Cantada. And in his deep na baritone voice, sabi daw ni Joe Cantada, ano ba yung pinagsasabi ni Chino kagabi sa television? Gusto kong malaglag sa upuan ko. Kasi nga naman, para ako nagmura sa ere. Alain mo, minura ko yung dalawang kaibigan ko, si Bill Velasco at si Butch Maniego. And then after that, mga ilang minutes, yung phone ni Seb yata rang again. And then lo and behold, it was Joe Cantada. Anong sinabi ni Joe Cantada? He wanted to talk to me. Ako hiyang-hiya. Alam mo yung biggest blunder of your life. Pero alam mo yung sinabi niya, and yung wisdom na yun, I want to share to anyone who would enter in this field. Sabi niya, Chino, sa susunod magkamali kang gano'n, huwag mo nang ipahalata. Mas nahalata nung wiwingi daw akong gano'n. Kasi I reacted because I realized the kind of mistake I committed on live television. So sa susunod, huwag mo nang ipahalata. Tumira ka lang dire-diretso. Hayaan mo na, later on na nila marirealize yan. At sa galing mo, hindi na nila mapapansin nagkamali ka. 30 years after I look back, you don't die with one mistake on television. I think it the more strengthened me. It gave me yung kapal ng mukha to continue. And it gave me siguro yung spark to learn that you have to be relaxed in front of a camera. You're talking to a person. Kung paano ka nakikipag-usap, how you talk to people, how you deal with people is the kind of persona na dapat pinapakita mo in front of a camera. You cannot hide behind masks, although kailangan natin ng mask ngayon. No? Hindi lang ako nagmamask ngayon kasi tinabi ko, Doc, pero at saka wala naman tao, ako lang nag-iisa rito. So, hindi ko kailangan ng mask. But later on,
hindi ka sa kanan mo. Dapat nakamask dyan si Jose Rizal, di ba?
Imamask natin si ano.
Yan.
Si Jose Rizal. Mamaya magbamask kami ni Pepe.
Yan.
May storya tong ano to eh. May storya itong bus na ito, Doc. Mapapalundag ako na bakit nandito. This was a gift handed to me by a good friend by the name of Fred Caido. Pamilya po yan ng mga sculptor. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. One time we had a project and he gave me this bust. Yung pala reminder kung ano yung what Jose Rizal was before, he remains to be relevant sa atin. Ang daming katuruan ni Jose Rizal that we should never forget. Pero balik tayo doon sa usapan ngayon. Joe Cantada, mentoring. Sabi niya sa akin, ito, hindi ko makakalimutan. So, sa susunod magkamali ka, ha? Huwag mo nang ipahalata sa tao. Naka-live ka pa naman. Laruin mo lang siya. And to this day, that's what I've been doing. You commit mistakes, blunders, no? Yung mga pagkakamali sa salita. Mahirap i-perfect yan eh. Mas magkakamali ka nga pag pinipilit mong magpapogi sa harap ng TV. Kaya act naturally in front of a camera. This is a secret, trade secret ng mga magagaling. If you saw Joe Cantada in the Thrilla in Manila 1975, walang panama si Michael Buffer. You probably saw itong you've seen Michael Buffer doon sa mga mahilig sa boxing dito, yung si Let's Get Ready to Rumble or Jimmy Leno. But do watch Joe Cantada, 1975 Thrilla in Manila. At maninindig ang balahibo niya kasi kung anong galing na sinasabi niyo ng mga American, ng mga ringside announcer, Joe Cantada was at par or maybe even a level higher. Yun yung sinasabi ko eh. In this journey, Doc Mike, nare-realize ko yung galing ng mga Pilipino. And that's what I will continue to do for the rest of my life. Ay, ang dami nang nagme-message, hindi ko masagot, Doc. Malayo yung computer ko eh. Baka malagdag, pinapatong ko lang eh. Anyway, okay. Sasagutin ko yan once we're done dito po sa live nito kasi nakakahiya kay Doc kung magte-text ako sa harap niya eh. Anyway, ang dami nakikita ko dito, hindi ko lang mabasa, Doc. Sandali I have to wear
okay lang yan, sir. Well, anyway, I just would like to harp on what kanyan talaga pag kailangan magsalamin.
Ano to? Pang FB na pull ko, smaller size. Okay. Si Lloyd pala to. So, message pala natin to, private chat pala natin to. Teka, sa kabila ako. Ito. Question, Sir Chino, you were exposed. Hi, ko, Doc Mike. Si Julian Lapid, tapos si John Francis Abelgas. Thank you, Sir Chino. I agree. It's about knowing yourself. Salamat din. Tama naman, Doc. Nakakabasa pa ako, pero kaya...
Alam mo,
isusok ko muna.
Yeah, bigyan mo muna kay Pepe dyan. Well, anyway, I don't know if you guys are watching and listening, guys. I see some 33 people there in the live feed, but I like what Chino said there. You turn your failures into success, not because you want to focus on the failure, but focus on the stuff that you're going to learn. And it doesn't matter how many times you failed or fallen or got sick. It's how many times you get up and do this all over again. And you know, meron nga yung sinasabi dyan na sa Japanese proverbs, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Nagkamali ka, you know, just keep going. Like what Chino said, the show must go on. And dito sa Amerika, hindi naman ako dito lumaki. Sa Pilipinas ako lumaki. We just got here like 2011, 2010, and I'm still learning. Pag may tanong yung pasyente ko sa akin dito, hindi ko pa alam yung sagot eh. I have to fake it to make it. And that's what, I'm sure that's what Chino did when he was starting. He had to fake it. He had to pretend he know what he was doing. And, you know, it's sad to say, but sometimes you have to fake it to make it. In that way, you can be the best that you can be. You know, yung mga famous basketball players, they pretended they know how to shoot the basketball that like kung sino man yung idol nila. For example, they really want to emulate Michael Jordan. LeBron James wants to be like Michael Jordan. And whoever, you know, a famous boxer, I'm sure Pacquiao watched other boxers, and he had to emulate that. He had to fake it. Okay, I'm going to be like this kind of boxer. In whatever career you want to be, ladies and gentlemen, in whatever career you want to be, you have to learn how to visualize it. You have to learn, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to be. And this is what I'm going to be the best at. And then you're going to fail. You're going to fail out. You might as well learn from those failures. Thank you for sharing that, Chino. I really, really appreciate you. Any last, I know you're so busy and everything. You have your shirt right now. Duyang ka ng magiting. What's next for Chino Trinidad? What's next? I know you accomplished all this stuff, PBL, you know, news, writing, interviews. I'm sure you're not going to stop. So what's next for Chino Trinidad in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, sir?
I'm gonna spend the rest of my life reminding Filipinos, no? Pagpapaalala po sa ating mga Pilipino na tayo ay isang bansa of noble people. Kung ano mang kasarian, kung ano mang paniniwala, kung saan man kayo nanggaling, tayo po ay bayan ng mga magigiting na tao. Kaya, di ba? Ano ba yung sinasabi ng ikalima na linya ng ating lupang hinirang, ng ating pambansang awit, di ba? Duyan ka ng magiting. Ito pa yung t-shirt na to, no? Baka nagtataka kayo, ano ba yung duyan ng magiting? What have I heard that? Or what have I seen it? No, nasa lupang hinirang natin, hindi po aksidente na nailagay dyan sa inaawit natin, sa kada iaangat yung ating bandera, yung pagsasabi na tayo ay duyan ng magiting, o duyan, galing ka sa duyan ng magiting, okay? In English, loosely translated, cradle of great men and women. Yan yung Pilipinas. Wow. I just want to continue to remind each and everyone that we're not the corrupted Filipinos that we are now seeing. Hindi. We're much deeper than that. No? Yung mga ninuno natin bago tayo tawaging Pilipinas 500 years ago, kasi next year would be our quincentennial. 500 years na yung Pilipinas, no? Yung Philippines, named after, of course, yung King of Spain. Pero even before that, kilala na tayo. Ayan, nagja-jackhammer na rito kasi time is up. Pero bago yan, Doc, gusto ko lang mag-shout out noon. Sabi na yung mentorship and moving on. Gusto kong magbigay pugay dito kay Julian Lapid. Alam mo itong batang ito? He's wheelchair bound. I think he suffers from Doc, ito kabisado mo ito eh. Ano tayo ito eh? CP yata, cerebral palsy. He could hardly write, he could hardly Alam mo, pag nakita mo siya, may inspire ka sa kanya. And that's what I do. That's what I learned from Kobe Bryant. How do you inspire others? No? Ano yung sabi niya? How do you inspire yourself pala? By inspiring others. That's what the great Kobe Bryant taught me. No? Yung kukuha ka ng source of inspiration. And ito si Julian Lapid. Bakit siya tuwan-tuwa ako sa kanya? Yung mga source of news, I follow from him. I mean, I follow him kasi minsan nauuna pa siya doon sa development. Yung ibang mga mas established na mga sinasabing mga media persons o mga influential persons on social media, si Julian na wheelchair bound, no? Hindi makapagsulat because yung limited yung movement niya because of yung cerebral palsy. Hindi ko maintindihan why he's always first sa mga news. And Julian, I'd like to give a shout out to you. Palagi mo sinasabing idol mo ako. Baliktad, ikaw ang idol ko. Doc, that's what life is about, no? Yung being able to recognize people. Ito, yung gagawin natin as we go along is, I want to one day come back to this show and tell you, parang mala Anthony Bourdain, I want to see who I am as a Filipino. And I would like to take you on a journey para ma-rediscover natin or maybe discover who we truly are. Pero sa ngayon, papaalala lang ko sa inyo, I will keep on reminding you na ang Pilipinas, ang Pilipino po, tayo ay duyan ng magigiting na tao. Yun lang po.
Oh, wow. That is such a very powerful statement there, Chino. I really, really appreciate that. And for inspiring us to be better, you know, I really like that. Duyan ka ng magiting. For those people who are watching, he said, duyan ka ng magiting. Magiting means brave. Magiting means brave. We as Filipinos, yes, we've been connotated, you know, corrupted and everything like that. No, we're not. You know, we were made to win, ladies and gentlemen. Even in the old times, the time of Magellan or whatever you call that those times, we were created to win. We were born to win. But in order for us to win, we have to learn how to prepare to win. We have to learn how to expect to win. And what happened with our generation, with our countries, that we were so expectant that somebody has to help us. But it's not. We can help our own selves. It's not what your country or your company can do for you. It's what you can do for our country. And that's what is a quote from a president here in the States. But still, we were made. Duyan ka ng magiting. We are made to win. We are braves, and we can do this. If you are watching right now, if you're a Filipino or whatever, wherever you're watching, there's a potential in you. Why? Because you're watching, you're listening right now. You're trying to listen to us here because you know deep inside you, you want to get better. You know deep inside you, you want to be awesome. You want to be better in not only in your field, but also in your specific profession. And like what Chino said, I'm going to give a special shout out to Julian. If he is wheelchair bound right now, and he has whatever you call medical condition, if he can do it, other people can do it too. There's no reason for us not to be brave. There's no reason for us to be a better person. And there's no reason for us to level up in our game called life here. So again, thank you very much, Chino. Appreciate you. Any last parting wisdom, and where can we find you? Do you have a website that we can reach out? I know we're going to post your YouTube channel. Please, ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe Chino's YouTube channel. But where can we reach out, sir?
Yeah, dyan sa Manila, Manolo from Manila. Or you can actually find me on Facebook. I'm Manolo Chino Trinidad, di ba? That's truly that's my personal Facebook account. Send me a message and I'll be more than willing to reply, to answer. Kasi most of the time I'm on Facebook, but right now I'm taking time sa YouTube, no. Meron, alam mo yung mentoring, Doc, you mentioned that earlier sa middle ng ating talk. Yung mentoring doesn't stop. And I'd like to give a shout out dito sa mga kasama ko sa Boxing Content Creators Circle of the Philippines, BCCP. Nagkamali pa yata ako circle. But anyway, group ito ng mga Filipino vloggers, no? Kasi I've shifted from a traditional media guy, I am now shifting my attention to yung social media. I've kept doing this for the longest time, hindi ko alam. But one day, one of them, si Martin, came to me, no, and told me, "Sir, ba't hindi niyo subukan mag-vlog?" And that was like a month ago. This was June 29. So, naging active ako sa YouTube, starting to post things. No? But ang mga ipinopost ko po dyan are inspiring stories. Ito, Doc, before I go, kahit pwede pa na ma-extend ng konti, no? Talking of disabilities, alam niyo bang merong boksingero sa Pilipinas, galing sa Pilipinas, na 1980, okay, he won 2 divisions, okay, 2 weight divisions. Before the Manny Pacquiao na winning 8, we had a Filipino winning the light flyweight and the flyweight division. Okay, ang pangalan po niya is Diosdado Dodiboy Peñalosa. Hanapin po niya yan. So sabi, anong greatness doon? What's special of winning 2 world titles in 2 different divisions? Paano kung sabihin ko sa inyo na he was polio-stricken at an age of 6 years old and rose to become world champion? Alam mo to, kapag kinukwento ko yun ngayon, naninindig yung balahibo ko.
Ako nga din ngayon.
I'd like one day to come back to this show, no, and just tell you stories like that. Kasi ito yung stories na iiwan sa atin. These are called evergreen materials nitong sa blogosphere na to kung tawagin. And there is no way that you can actually not see this story. Ang role ko pa dito is just get their story and tell it to a younger generation. Because I witnessed that. I was part of it by being a spectator. It was part of my building years. Now, I want to go back to that time, tapos retell the story to this generation of Filipinos so that they can derive inspiration from one Dodiboy Peñalosa. How can you explain that, di ba? Nakakatuwang ikwento kasi talagang that's what make people great. May polio ka and yet nakapanalo ka ng 2 world titles in 2 different divisions. Doc, I'd like to end on that note. Na tayo mga Pilipino, walang excuses sa atin. We find ways to win. We find ways to overcome adversity. Kaya tayo tinatawag na duyan ng magigiting. Doc, salamat for this wonderful opportunity and I will continue to follow you. Nakakatuwa ka kasi you help a lot of people, no, sa advocacy mo, lalo na yung may mga challenges sa kanila pong mobility, yung kanilang paggamit ng kanilang cerebral cortex, yung kanilang mga brain. Tama, alam ko na konti sa medicine, Doc.
That's too deep.
sa opportunity na ibigay mo sa akin dito to be able to tell again my end of the story. Ako po si Chino Trinidad, ang Filipino storyteller.
Oh wow. Oh wow. That is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you need to reach out to him, reach out to him in Facebook and subscribe in his YouTube channel. You're not going to be just find a coach, you're not going to just find a mentor. You're going to be inspired. So before I let you go, I know we're running out of time, but before I let you go, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Chino. Thank you very much, Chino. You've inspired me again and again. But always remember the word fast, FAST. You know what Chino does? He does things fast. When you're a boxer, you're an athlete, you need to do things fast. So letter F, find friends that will push you to your next level because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Right now, I'm hanging out with Lloyd. I'm hanging out with Bert. I'm hanging out with Apple. Guess what? I hang out with Chino right now. I'm going to be awesome like him too. You got to find friends that will push you to your next level. Find friends, ladies and gentlemen, because if you hang out with people who are just, in the Philippines, we call it standby. Guess what? You're going to be a standby. If I hang out with awesome people, guess what? I'm going to be awesome too. And it's not because you are trying to level up yourself, because you just want to be better. You want to be better. Next letter is letter A. You got to learn how to take action. All this stuff that we're doing, this is a free show. This is a free show. I mean, of course, we pay, and everything, but it's a free show that you can watch. If it doesn't do me good, it doesn't do Chino good if you don't take action, ladies and gentlemen. Take action. Imperfect action beats perfect in action. You know what Chino did? He reported. He made a mistake. He actually cussed out those people in his TV show. Guess what? He took action. He took action. Right? Letter S on the word fast. Letter S is share and subscribe. Share and subscribe Chino's YouTube channel, his Facebook stuff. Share and subscribe because the more shares, the better for him, for our show, and for our TNC channel, for our iBusiness. So share and subscribe. And last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, letter T. You got to learn how to teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, just like what Chino's doing, he's teaching, he's inspiring other people, the more he understands it. Again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mike Chua, streaming live here in Martin, Tennessee. And in behalf of my co-host, Bert De Vera, this is iBusiness. We'll see you Thursday. Thank you.